Well, today is September 27th, 22. It should be today or tomorrow that Karen around the house or Karen's will started. Uh, because it took me 4 days to call Will back. And I had just spoke to him right before our wood burner was put in. And our wood burner was put in on the 30th. I told you all the bad, scary stuff had to happen for me to call the FBI. They, it's hard to believe I'm 4 years into this case, and it's still going on because of Will's corruption and his stupid setup. And what's even worse is when I talked to, like I said, my friend that worked at the prosecutor's office. He said nothing he said was legal, and they can't go along with illegal statements. That's where it's rich and ridiculous that, like you said, after what that agent said and did, there's no excuse. No one's not help you. He can't. Because I told you, September 18th of 18. It's the 17th or 18th. I went up to Advanced America and I met with, on the way up there, they sent me to a different store. They had hired me as an assistant. Some lady cost me my job, and then Dave knew I was at the end of the driveway when I didn't have anything to trace my phone, and our security cameras didn't go to the end of the driveway. And then somebody went to that other store, impersonated me, and cost me that job. So I didn't hang up on that phone with Terry when I talked to her within like the next day. Um, and then I overheard how the churches took up money to have 25,000 to have me murdered because Ron wanted me dead because I got while the year his kid died. And it was Keith Bishop, Strange, and Ron. And I gasped and I hung up. I had nothing to do with his son's death. His father-in-law, May 3rd, 2003, took his son Tyler to a church baseball game. He ran a stop sign and semi hit him. My whole family's like 30 miles away. Um, But later on that year, I got well, and I have MRI reports, blood work. I have documents. I was sick, but Strange, being an occult leader, told everybody I was faking I was sick and faking I got well while he was grieving. And he's a millionaire, and he wants some kind of sick vengeance. He was still telling it 15 years later, the same stupid lie. And I have scars. I mean, you can't fake this stuff, and it's just ridiculous. But that's how he controls people with their lies. Um, and then where Sarah at Zales, her and her old manager, tall blonde lady, had went to work with Katie at JD. Actually, it's Ashcroft and Oak uh, jewelry store. Um, and the brown hair, brown girl, headed girl, white girl, lady. I think one of them's name's Courtney, maybe. They all three came up to me and my ex-husband, we were married at the time, and told us that Katie said her church had a plan to kill me, and they had meant to take care of me, and a permanent plan. And they were worried and told me to call a police or detective. Um, and then Dave arrogantly holding me down in the middle of the night, how he hired a man to slit my throat, stab me in the heart, and shoot me if I run for 30 minutes. He held me down. Later on, he tried to claim it was a vivid dream. It was no vivid dream because it was 30 minutes and it was turning him on as he was squeezing me, rubbing his beard into my face, kissing me and hugging me. I was afraid in the cold, dark night if I moved, he'd kill me. Realizing how stupid was I, the 4 attempts on my life before with them, and I just thought he was cheating. And then September 21st to 18, I had got enough nerve to go to Giant Eagle. He called me, "Where are you at?" And I said, "I'm buying something for dinner." I got a phone call to make, "Please don't go." Well, I knew I'd probably be moving out soon and I didn't have anywhere to go. And I seen they were giving flu shots. And I thought, I bet I can't afford to get sick. So I got one and I got dizzy for a second. I sat down on the bench and I heard the voice. "I can't believe she's here." And it was the same one of, "I got her." Hood up over his head and try to kidnap me. I'm like, "Oh my God, he's here. Where is he?" And I walk off by the ATM. He comes up behind me. I stab you right here and now. If it wasn't for that security guard, and I look up, I see him. I make a beeline right for the bank. I'm like, can I open an account? Got right in front of someone. And the Pizza Hut lady come over and was bragging somebody was paying her to stalk me. I get paid to watch her. The baker screaming at her, stay out of it. And she's like, no, I get paid to watch her. He's like, look, lady, it's not going to be worth it. And then you better stay out of this. And the guy that tried to kidnap me, tried to carjack me, just threatened to knife me, walks out around me, and she walks off with him. So either she called him, Dave called him, or Dave called someone to call, or worst scenario, use the company phone. They could get him. Um, and Dave, I freak out, and I go down to Giant Walmart 62 Go for a ride. And an African American lady spit in my face, and her and her white boyfriend were harassing me, and this other white man with black hair and dark eyes and an eagle tattoo came up to me and went, what a shame, and kept staring at me. And I got away from that freak, and I got home, and at the end of the driveway, Dave's like, my girlfriend's rich and powerful, and her family owns the police. You won't be able to withstand Karen. I told him, I said, it's not a communist country. Nobody owns the police. And I thought, God, he's got connection. That girl cost me my job. It must be his girlfriend. What do I do? And then I got to thinking, well, it's a hate crime. His church is threatening to kill you. I'll call the FBI. So I called the hotline by the 23rd. Okay. And I gave him like 45 minutes of the 2 Perry police reports. Dave's the main subject of attempted break-in, and the phone random linked back to that church. Told him about Terry's phone call. I told him about the 3 women, knowing that they said they were going to kill me. I explained the money disappearing. I gave him Annie's phone number, how they impersonated me. Okay. And I'm crying like crazy. They had been drugging me up so bad up there. I couldn't even get out of bed right after that for 3 days. I was waking up with bruises, hand marks, even a cut. I couldn't figure out how I was getting banged up, and they were date rape drugging me for fake confessions. Lying they had sodium pentothal reports, and laughing in the neighborhood that they used ecstasy on me. Okay. They're not funny. And they admitted to a shower scene, drugging me and telling me say crazy stuff, where they photoshopped, I guess, the shower scene, and people went to the Canton police and drugging me and telling me say stuff. And they think they're funny, and they're assholes on ungodly levels, and I had bruises. But, and when then we'll have an agent call you back, and I remember the phone ringing and thinking, whose number is that? When I looked at my phone, rolled over, and went to voicemail, this agent will call me back, da-da-da-da. And I rolled over again, and I went back to sleep. And I got up and barely ate anything that day with Dave, and then I went back to sleep, and I couldn't get up at the second day. Third day, I got up, and it felt like my head was swirling, like I was drunk. And I'm like, what's wrong with me? And I thought, I gotta get air. And I thought, well, if I was Sarah won't let me, I'll get some blood pumping. I gotta think. Then I thought of Sarah. So I called Sarah, of course. I'm scared for you. So I went and bought her a card and put Will's number in it. And we went out to Apostolic Church of Barberton. And Paul Paymer got in Dave's face. My God, I had an FBI agent in my office. He's right there. What is this with the FBI coming up here asking about threats? And I don't like bringing this up in my church tonight. I walk off and Dave comes in, let's go. He threatens my life on the way home, swinging at me. Till when I get home, I run from him. Next day I have to call Will back. And I'm talking to him and he's rude as hell. And I try to tell him what happened at Huntington Bank. And the Pizza Hut lady, he's like, you liar. You confess you're lying or I'll put you in jail. He said, I'll arrest you. Do you understand me? I'm like, what? He's like, you heard me. And I'm like, fine, whatever. He can't do that. That is battering a witness and a victim and obstruction of justice and tampering with evidence. He can't do that. And then he's like, do you know if he has a girlfriend? And I'm like, I don't know. And some guy's rambling. He's like, she doesn't know. Stop. Okay. He did know. He knew everything. I'll list you a form and give me all these big crazy things. And then he's like, but if you tell someone, I'll list you crazy and no man can help you. You can't do that. I talked to my friend that worked for the prosecutor's office. He started laughing. He said everything that agent said is illegal. He can't tell people he can't help you. He can't list you crazy for telling someone. And he can't threaten to arrest you for trying to give a statement. He said he can't do anything like that. And everything he said was illegal. The only thing legal he did is list me informant and put me in protective custody. And he knew it was Dave's girlfriend's family, retired Judge Pete, and their friends in that occult doing that to me. And we're August 10th, 11th, 22, Walmart 62 by the hair salon. They start following me, how they called Will and explained Michelle. And he set me up. And they're breaking in Walmart. None of this is funny. A man said it where on the Christmas shooting, Dave got caught on the surveillance from the home protective light case, where I had to hide not to get killed. That it picked it up how they went to the wrong house and how they killed people. And the old lady said the duplex, I told you that light is like exploding. They were saying it was actually a gun discharge the other day in Walmart. I really have been trying to get somebody, and they said the guy that said his son died up there. I actually met him, and God heaven. And the Asian lady said her husband died. I've been trying to get justice down here. You know, my pastor preached Amos 5:24, let justice come down like water, and righteousness like a mighty stream. You know, some of the men walked by me. Did you hear what happened to Cameron? And for what happened to Cameron? I want to ask you, did you hear what happened to Cameron? And for what happened to Cameron? Did you hear what happened to the Asian lady's husband? Did you hear about the man that his son died? Did you hear what happened to Karen? How they put her through a concentration camp and tried to kill her and raped and tortured her when she tried to help? Did you hear about what happened to her son Josh and his family, how they tampered with their vehicles? Did you hear about the men that took care of her, how they had to run for their lives in December? Did you hear about the crooked retired judge thinking he can pay anybody off not to do their job? Did you hear about the corrupt agent that took a payoff to let everyone die? My one friend calls it a backdoor deal. They give them someone they want, or they cut a deal with them. And it happens all the time. But did you hear about the real victims of this case? And I pray that let justice run down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream. Let it fill every crevice and every crack of the real victims of this case, and things be made right. Like I said, we got our wood burner on the 30th. And I had just talked to Will within the day or two. There's no reason. He had Dave the first day, and he didn't want it. He had him in 10 days when he was threatening Dixie and the baby's life. He didn't care. He didn't care because he was corrupt and paid off. But justice needs to come down. And these people that follow me and harass me, they need to think, would you want these weirdos to kick in your door and stalk you, Photoshop a shower scene, date, rape, drug you, and then hire lowlifes to follow you and harass you? And after you lived through a concentration camp trying to keep your family out of it, you had nowhere to go and no way out, and was almost murdered and stalked and drugged repeatedly, and then beat, raped, tortured, trying to give people help. And they are so advanced, they hacked into a police login for protected home custody and sold it. Do you realize how advanced they are? Because it should have been dinging everywhere. On the security alerts, that illegal entrance into that police database. It should have been dinging everywhere. And they cut it off. So how did they do it? How advanced are they? Pretty bad. And these people need to think how not funny this is, of killing people, getting things out of attempted murder, rape, torture, and murder for extortion and racketeering, and how not funny it is terrorizing the victims. How not funny they are.